Hey folks, it's Mike. I'm with Disabilities Maine. I'm a writer and I used to be a webmaster, but we now have a woman now. She does it much better than I ever did. So, I do these things called Storytimes that I use for explaining to people about important things about disabilities they probably don't know about, or they didn't hear about, or that society or the media or history is forgotten. So I try and wrap that up in a radical context, a storytelling type theme, and present it to you. It's a couple times a month. It's been a really rough month this month. I lost my mentor, Diane Coleman, on the 1st, and I have been really struggling with that personally, and it's been difficult, even though I was blessed to have her as a friend for almost 30 years. She was an immense community support to me, professionally and personally. Personally, she reached out to me when I was looking for people who were dealing with the type of cancer my mom had. She was the only person to get back to me with direct experience, and she always was really helpful in that respect, and she helped me with, I helped her in Diane. I met her at the Supreme Court in 1997 when I was just a college kid. Blown away that I could walk around the Senate and House because my friend wasn't interning down there, and so I knew how to go down there. I was at Tom Andrews' inaugural when he was a representative, back when that was like a big thing, I guess, or that was like the biggest thing I could think of in terms of things I did. And I went to the Supreme Court hearing on Bethco versus Quill, which was a Supreme Court case which would legalize assisted suicide in New York State. It did not. It was ruled in 1997 that it wasn't assisted suicide was not a constitutional right. And Diane was a fierce advocate. She was probably the first advocate to really write a great legal argument that preventing people who had terminal illnesses from committing suicide was ableist. And she was also the first person to say that it's not just terminally ill people, it's all disabled people that are severely disabled. They will make this widely available, and they have. If you look at the state of Maine, like anybody who gets off their meds in more than 6 months would qualify. And if I got off my meds for more than 12 hours, I would be in danger of having a seizure. So it's very disingenuous for the assisted suicide movement to make the statements they do. And Diane was an incredible leader for that. She worked and got arrested over 25 times for accessible transit, for community-based living, for anti-assisted suicide stuff. And she would have continued. She was just so incredible. I could speak her praises for the next hour, and it would not be enough. I could speak for the next 10 days, and it would not be enough. but I was lucky to have her as a friend. I was lucky to have her as a co-worker and mentor. She gave me some of the best gigs I ever had writing. Without her, I wouldn't have had been published in the so many of the things I've written in terms of suicide. Not that she opened the door, but she definitely was so insightful and so really beyond graceful, just tactical. She knew where to put things. She knew how to write things. I ghostwrote for her. I would often talk to her about, trying to get into, getting an article into a specific article at a specific time. My article that got into the same week, opposing assisted suicide in Manchester, year later as the presidential primary in 2020 was pretty incredible for me in terms of a writer and activist, and that wouldn't have happened without Diane and the folks some of the folks also associated with the Patient Rights Action Fund. They work behind the scenes together. And Diane was just such a strong leader. She had a presence that you couldn't. You always had a smile on your face after you were done talking to Diane, even if you were upset with her. You were just happy to talk to her. She left you with a smile. She always made sure you felt wanted and important and heard. And I think there were so many times when things I would do and bring up on the listserv that we were on, that we could translate to things that would be taken up by the not yet board. I would find out about it years later. And it was like, wow, that's kind of insane. But I mean, it was also really kind of, it was nice to know that she took some of my arguments very seriously, or my criticism seriously. And she really gave me such a great foundation in terms of being a writer, in terms of my own social background, in terms of my own dealing with my own idiosyncrasies. I mean, she made me feel okay to be Mike Reynolds, the guy who wears diapers and has seizures and smokes weed and talks about it and doesn't have to feel bad about it, because that's who I am. And she was willing to fight for that. There was a really intense situation where I had a hotel room, and they wouldn't allow me to smoke. I didn't realize that they changed the laws in Maine, but they did, and I was all panicky. They wouldn't allow me to smoke, and then they did let me smoke. I ended up smoking in my car, which was fine. But Diane was paying for the hotel room, and she was like, "Look, this is an access issue," and she saw it as that. And it was really important to see it as that. It was really incredible to see it as that. It was really helpful to see it as that. And what could have been a really negative experience ended up being a really positive experience. I ended up spending the night in a nice hotel. It was really bad out. It was right before a press conference, and there was black ice everywhere. We had to spend the night in Augusta. It was planned to anyway, but it was just really annoying that night because of the weather. And then the stuff afterwards was just the next day was just really early. It was people I wasn't exactly thrilled to be with, but they weren't bad people, just again, people I wasn't exactly happy to be with. But Besides that, we've also had an election, which was, to say the least, not wonderful, definitely stressful, definitely something that, as a person who's not a Republican, I'm not thrilled at all about another 4 years of Donald Trump. In fact, I'm kind of terrified, to be honest with anyone. And I think most Democrats and people who have any sort of sane grasp on reality, or some other phrase, Donald Trump has been using Elon Musk as a huge advisors for his cabinet picks. His cabinet picks are dangerous people with disabilities. He's elevated Dr. Melvin Oz, a doctor who gained notoriety on Oprah Winfrey Show and ran for Senate with some really wacky ideas, and was defeated, but it was so pro-Trump that now he's now the head of Health and Human Services as a nominee. Hopefully these people will have some pushback from our Senate, which I did turn Republican, but with Matt Gaetz withdrawing, hopefully there's some sanity that might be seen. But I mean, literally, if you're disabled, I don't think we need to worry about leaving, because really, honestly, if you're severely disabled, you really can't go anywhere. You need to make so much money to go to be able to transfer. Most of that requires master's degree at minimum, and then so much money, usually 50 grand or above, to be able to move. And then if you have that, how are you going to transfer your care, your PCA work, your medical devices, all that stuff. But living in Maine, we're 2 or 3 hours away from the Canadian border. Depending on where you are in the state, you're not even that far away from it. So get a passport. You can travel, go to Montreal. Montreal's like 3.5 hours away from Lewiston, which is where I'm from. And, it seems interesting to at least have that. And then, this isn't directly involved with me, but I mean, assisted suicide is being proposed in Britain. If I knew about it, I would have flown over. The vote's going on Friday, and unfortunately, I didn't know about it. I wish I did. I don't have a passport. But it failed in Britain in 2015 by quite a substantial amount. Hopefully it will now. Liz Carr, who has been an incredible actress, who has a movie, a documentary called Better Off Dead, that was shown around parts of the U.S., but not really. I don't know if you can see it anywhere streaming yet or not. I would definitely link to it with the ability to Maine if it was, but I don't think it is. And whoever the second streamer that is watching today, thank you. I don't know who that is, but thank you. If you want to comment and tell me who you are, that's great. If not, wonderful to have you. Again, the other thing we have to worry about is that we're going to have Robert Kennedy Jr. as the head of the FDA, which is dangerous as can be. I mean, I can't think of the worst nightmare scenario. Well, I can, but I just won't even go there because who knows what would happen. But I mean, RFK Jr. is a vaccine skeptic. He doesn't believe in fluoride. He has very weird views on some environmental issues, and it just the things he continues to state are going to be dangerous to people with disabilities. Also should be noted that his family is one of the most incredible families and political families and legacies in the history of American politics. I mean, his uncle was president, his father ran for president, was assassinated, his other uncle ran for president. But his aunt was Eunice Shriver, who really started the movement for developmentally disabled adults for everything. She did the Shriver Foundation for, and professors at college ran that for a number of years as a director when she was ill. So, I mean, and the problem is that his family has denounced everything he does. So, he is not a friend to the disability community in any way, shape, or form. And that's sad, pathetic, but it's unfortunately the truth. And it's gotta be dangerous. I mean, so people with disability really should focus on working locally, getting to know your CIL, getting to know your mutual aid organizations, getting to know the local nonprofits that can help you with food, shelter, nonprofits that can help you with activities, live streams. Bates College has tons of streams that they broadcast on Owen Arts, so I don't need to watch live. I can watch on Vimeo, I can watch streaming, and I love Owen Arts. It's one of the best venues in the nation. And I've been around the world. I've been around the country. Hopefully we'll be around the world, or around the country, internationally, but not yet. I will be at some point. Cross fingers. But I think, excuse me, Barry, I think Big G's is here. I think we're getting oil delivered. Thank you very much. For someone who, I'm in the middle of doing my job, just sorry, but I do need to post that. But, so yes, I am in the middle of my oil delivery, and will be, also, so back to, and there's a lot of heat, which is because of, Joe Biden, and, you know, it sucks that Kamala Harris lost. It would have been great to have a nonverbal child in the vice president's residence, and with Gus Waltz. But unfortunately, it sucks for the Democrats that we lost. And you know, who knows why? I mean, I'm not gonna, you know, speculate as to why they lost. I just, it sucks, and it's depressing. And again, mutual aid organizations, find people who think like you. Get involved. Email list, listservs. I mean, being queer is going to be dangerous, especially when you're, you know, seeing what people are doing in terms of Project 2025 and what elected people are getting away with, like Nancy Mace and the anti-trans hatred. You know, I'm a gay man who survived the AIDS crisis. It was never this bad. The anti-trans movement is so much more worse than D&D game back then. And that was dangerous. I mean, that was deadly back then. I mean, we were terrified of AIDS, then COVID made AIDS look like nothing. And now we're living in this world where it's like almost this dystopia. And it really does feel like a dystopian feeling where you don't understand, why people are voting so much against their own public, necessity. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard is a American former congresswoman who has been seen by TSA as a potential security threat because the way she travels is suspicious to other intelligence agencies. Have seen issues, and knowing that she has a history of really weird stuff like homophobia and transphobia that she attributed to religious beliefs, which might have to do with Hare Krishna, but I'm not saying that Hare Krishna has anything bad at all to it. It's a weird belief. If you get me against people who are queer, you probably aren't the right people. You're probably definitely not the good people. So yeah, I will say that, and I have no problem saying that. And she just has been seen with Russian media. She's darling with Russian media, and the fact that she's being touted to run the intelligence services that run 17 different agencies is scary. And it's not just scary, it's dangerously scary. To the point that people should be afraid. People are terrified about cuts to social services. People are terrified about cuts to special ed. People are terrified as to special ed services and, whether or not the Department of Education will survive. Because the Department of Education does all the 504 and IDEA and regulations and curriculum regulations and stuff like that. So without the Department of Education, we lose a lot of special ed services. Not so much, I mean, there's also state special ed, but they're required by federal law. So a lot of federal monies could be diverted or changed or go back to institutions or workplaces or non or segregated settings. I mean, the DOE, the DOJ. Oh, and that was another thing too. Recently, I just read today. I don't have the details on it, but the Department of Justice did settle with the state of Maine on the delivery of services for children with disabilities in the state of Maine, but that's still not enough. It's, we have to wait two hours. It's not uncommon to wait for to get your benefits and certified. It's a mandatory phone call. You can't not do it. And if you it's just one of those things that does violate the ADA, but yet they try and say it doesn't, but it clearly does. But how are you going to report that? Anyway, trying to get back to Tulsi Gabbard. It's pretty bad when in 2016, at the first debate when Tulsi Gabbard was actually running for president. That sounds, God. It's sad when you realize that you want for the George Bush years, and you realize that those were bad years, but like, it wouldn't be anything compared to the craziness that you're going through now. When Hillary Clinton referred to Tulsi Gabbard as a Russian asset, and that was mainstream thinking back then. Why is she the secretary? Why is she the intelligence chair now? Again, like, I'm scared. I have a college degree. I'm hoping I'll be getting a passport soon. And I'm going to continue to be doing these story times because they really do help, and I do like the oral tradition. And it is Greenwood's Day. It is a day to celebrate marijuana, medical marijuana. It was people like Dennis Perron in San Francisco that brought weed to, dying queer people into Castro in the early 90s that, spawned the medical marijuana movement in California, in Maine in 1999, amended in 2009, actually amended in 2002, then amended in 2009, then amended in 2011, probably a year since, although I'm not sure all those amendments are on the state page, because the state page, probably at one point was 3 years behind. Not sure how many years behind they are now. We've had medical marijuana, we've had recreational marijuana passed since 2016, and it went into effect. I believe the first shots went up in 2020 or 2019. So was Green Wednesday. We celebrate the history of Maine, and if you think about it, Ability Maine has some of the first activist stuff done around the very first medical marijuana bill in 1992 with Allen Ginsberg at Hempfest. That's on audio, that's on our real audio, that's on our website, Ability Maine, and I think if you look at it, search Allen Ginsberg University of Maine, you'll find it on YouTube. And he spoke that night at Neville Hall, which is also on YouTube, but he spoke at the Memorial Union, where it was just a small little building, like it's now like a mall, I guess, but this is when it was a small building, before it had all the major renovations. In the afternoon hours of that Friday, so both of those were online. Those were widely taped back in the 90s between people, so I got my copy from a guy named Sebman, who actually was there the year before. It happened during the year before I went to school there, and I knew about it, but I couldn't get a ride up, and I didn't drive, so it was that much worse. But in any event, it's Green Wednesday, and tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a tradition that is rooted in colonization and screwing over indigenous people. It's ridiculous that we treat Native Americans the way we do. Tomorrow, the hardcore filming crew of Hate 56 at Hate 5 SIX. And that's just it's Sunny Sings video production thing. Will be broadcasting the Native American protest of Thanksgiving tomorrow morning from Plymouth, Massachusetts. She does this every year. It's awesome every year, and you should really check it out. Also, this weekend there's just a lot going on. I'm gonna try and post things that are useful. I know that Diane Coleman's virtual memorial was posted to YouTube. That may be posted soon. I'll be putting it up on the Ability main page as soon as I can. And I hope you have a good holiday, despite the colonization background. I hope you have great pies and eat however you want to eat. Have a great weekend, and definitely see you next month. And stay radical and be awesome and enjoy your big holiday and stay awesome. Peace.